Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 27 on our 3D movie YouTube channel. I'm Zach from Gravel by California. Very excited to talk about the route reveal for Dirty Bear this year. I was very fortunate enough to do the event last year. And if you remember a couple years before, our travels over there we did a gravel guide, and it was easily in our top 5. And last year's event was as well. So we're going to talk about the longer Dirty Bear course, which comes in at 50 miles, and a little bit about the Tour to Big Bear itself. So let's bring in Robin Brown, coordinator for the Tour to Big Bear, Dirty Bear. So hello, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's good to be here. Good to be here. Wonderful Big Bear.
I know. I initially when we kind of came on the call earlier, I thought that you were you had a background on, but
No, this is my backyard.
For real. Oh, man. So what's the weather like up there right now? Where is it? Where you've kind of moved past the winter time. Everyone's transitioning into kind of summer up there, right?
Yes, we've been high 60s. Now we're reaching into the 70s. We're actually, which is slightly above normal for us, but it's still wonderful weather. Wonderful weather up here. Blue skies. But we're still working for a little bit of snow in some high places and dark places, but everything's opening up.
Well, you're not wearing a parka, so that's a good sign. So
yeah, it's a great sign.
You're above 7,000 feet up there, right?
I sit right about 7,000 feet. I'm right near the line. The base of Snow Summit, which is a short distance from me, is 7,000 feet.
So yeah, definitely you're a little bit above us. So definitely about a mile higher than where I live. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I had always heard about the Tour to Big Bear, and last year was the first time that I went. And first of all, besides the gravel with all the road rides that are out there, was I don't think too hard. It was probably the best organized event that I have ever been part of. And
well, thank you. A lot of work goes into it.
Yes, and one thing you notice right off the bat in doing the gravel is the high number of pit stops. Like, anyone could, if you really needed water, you could go with one bottle. It was almost almost every 7 miles, which is like unheard of.
Well, the big Tour to Big Bear tries to live by the motto of their aid stations. The strength of their aid stations needs to equal the strength of their routes, and that's what they strive very much to do, is for each one to be just as strong as the other.
And the other thing I noticed too is the Big Bear community on both sides of the lake, they all seem to be pretty behind this event, because it really seems to take over the area.
Yes, it does. We'll have about 2,600 cyclists, and just for the road portion, about 2,600 cyclists, and we have over 400 volunteers, and we have volunteers that come up off the mountain that take part with us each year, and a lot of the groups are other nonprofit charity groups that use it as part of their fundraiser. So the entries that are paid to come up here, Tour to Big Bear is part of Big Bear Cycling Association, which is a nonprofit organization which provides additional funding to those other nonprofits. So all those groups working the aid stations are all different nonprofit groups that are getting some of the funding through Tour to Big Bear.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the area swells with not just visitors, but people volunteering and just fantastic coverage out there, especially when you're doing a dirt ride. You're never too far away from other people.
No. Yes. Exactly.
So
But
before we get into the course, how did you get involved? Because the Dirty Bear is a more recent addition to the overall tour to Big Bear.
so I retired from the fire department over in Las Vegas back in 2020, February of 2020. And I'd already been helping with the Tour to Big Bear or riding in it for several years prior to that. And then after I retired, actually, Tom Spiegel, who has Team Big Bear timing company, and they put on mountain bike races, asked me what my thoughts were on a gravel ride, and then they asked me about being on the board and for Tour de Big Bear, and I'm like, I'll jump on board with running a gravel ride for Tour de Big Bear. So that's how I came about jumping on Team Tour de Big Bear, and that's how a gravel route became part of Tour de Big Bear. So I am the coordinator, and I handle everything with it. So all the routing, the aid station locations, all that stuff. That's me. So I take that part on.
Now, you don't make it easy on yourself by trying to keep the same course every year.
Nope, I do not.
Which is fun and obviously convenient because you live up there. But people have always asked me about the riding up in Big Bear and wanting to do multiple days and find other routes. So you're definitely have been diving into that, and this course, I guess, has a few new surprises.
Yes. Well, there's a few things about the history of me doing that. I've done gravel riding and mountain biking for a long time and done a lot of events between BWR, the Rock Cobbler, Crusher and Tusher, and then also doing the Whiskey and Leadville and all this stuff. And so places I've gone to multiple times and ridden the same course and course over, I really didn't care about going back again, even though it was a great, I'm like, I've seen that course enough times. I want something new. So with people coming to Big Bear each year, I tried to change the flavor of the course each year. So you don't get exactly the same thing. And it's all based on what's the best stuff that's available to me each year. Because each year it changes according to what the weather or winter was, or like we still have a closure up here from our fire a couple of years ago, or what the permitting is going to look. So, but I give everybody the best that I have available to ride because I ride and this is stuff I like. So that's how the course is based and how the direction, everything changes each year.
Yeah, and that's one of the things why I encourage people to sign up for events, because I have almost 100 gravel guides out there, but I can't go back and curate them every week and know what the conditions are like. Everyone's got to do a little bit of R&D on their own, whereas you do an event, and for some people, that probably most people that don't live in Big Bear, going up there, and I've had this happen before. You don't know the conditions of things, and you get stuck. And
yes,
we had that happen to us over on the Lake Arrowhead side near Cleghorn Pass, and that's an infamous video for us. So I definitely encourage people to try and do events because you're being given well thought out courses.
Yeah.
Well, let's before I get in, if people have questions, go ahead, throw them in the comments. We'll get to them. It's better if you're on YouTube because they will let me see your comments better. So let's hop over to 3D land, over to our map. And yes, so just I'll zoom out just a little bit if people really aren't in the know. Big Bear, at least for me, I live in the San Fernando Valley. It's a little over a 2-hour drive. I live over here to get up to Big Bear, which is very palatable for me. but obviously near a lot of places. Definitely, if you're even from the Palm Springs area, very easy to say hello. But I guess walk us through the course, and I guess the very important piece of information off the bat is that it's starting at a different venue this year.
Yeah, we moved back over to Bear Mountain. So a few years ago, we moved out of the village and moved over to Bear Mountain because we outgrew the village. We used to be set up on a Christmas tree lot that's down there, and it just overcrowded the village. The businesses weren't very happy with us, and it's just, we outgrew it. And so we've struck a deal with the resort and to move over to Bear Mountain. Bear Mountain has an awesome deck and area looking up to the ski resort, gives us all kinds of room. Last year, we had to go over to Summit due to Bear Mountain doing construction and extending their deck in a lot of areas out there, which actually is opening up even more room for us, make even a better venue. It was a great venue before, and it's going to be an amazing venue now. So that's why we're over at Bear Mountain. And we're going to be staying at Bear Mountain for quite a while. And so this is, if we move somewhere, it's only because construction for a year and then move back. But we're back at Bear. Like it out there. Some people don't like to climb back to Bear, but it's a great place to be.
Well, I've ridden part of this area before. You know, when we did our first gravel guide back here and popping out, and there was a mountain bike race going on at the same time. So definitely a preferred space for people. But so walk us through the course itself.
All right. Well, we'll start right there on the street right in front of Bear Mountain, and by where the old zoo used to be, there on the corner where you make that left to go around. We'll follow Moon Ridge all the way down beside the golf course through the shopping center, and the second traffic circle after we go through, we'll be hanging a right. After you go through down through all the stores and stuff far down Moon Ridge, we'll be making that right there, and then immediate left. Now the start is a neutral start, and it will be led out by the local hot rod club. So it'll be some type of hot rod or older model car. Really cool classics that come up for the event, and they'll give them a neutral rollout to the opposite side of the lake. We just try to control speed and everything with the big groups getting across to the other side of the lake through the different intersections and things. And that's the easiest way for us to safely do it, is through a neutral roll to the opposite side of the lake with a lead out vehicle. And the lead out vehicle is from the local hot rod club. So you'll climb up. That's it. We'll head down after you leave the traffic circle, making a right, and then the first left. It's a downhill run. That's part of the reason why we have that lead out. And then make a right on Avalon and work our way across over to Juniper and then down Starvation Flats to the overside of the other side of the lake, just like the Stanfield cutoff and across. Then that's North Shore School, where you'll be turning right. And that's actually where that school is located, is the third aid station for Bear. So we'll hang a right, take North Shore Drive going east, and then we're going to be making a turn prior to Van Dusen, because it's actually a wider, bigger area to see, to make a left-hand turn with the traffic, and then start working our way Van Dusen.
Okay.
So we're starting one before Van Dusen, making that jog over, because it's easier with traffic doing that right there than just turning left on Van Dusen.
Okay. Is that going to hurt these KOM segments on Strava?
No.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that might hurt somebody's Strava segment, but most of them going up Van Dusen don't start until the dirt anyway.
Okay.
Because you have a half mile of pavement before you reach the dirt after you make your left off of the North Shore. So then you have your half mile of pavement. Then we jump on the first substantial climb of the day. So there's 3 primary climbs in this. And this climb has 2 sections to it. The first section is this going up Van Dusen, which it's let's see. It's a 3.3% average climb going up to the top of Van Dusen. And once you get up to the top, we'll be making a right, which is going to take you a loop around this big camping area there. It's a nice loop that goes around that camping area. And on the back side of that camping area, which is about mile marker 10 and a half into the event, is the high. The end of that first climb is where the aid station is.
Okay.
And aid station 1 will be right there. Both the Dirty Bear and the Dirty Cub will be using that aid station. And then once you roll back out on the Holcomb Valley Road, going to the right, going west, you'll just stay on Holcomb Valley Road. Where it crosses Palik back there is where the Dirty Cubs will turn and start working their way back. But you'll continue on. No, that's Lamar.
Okay.
On the right-hand side of the screen is the Palik. So we'll go across the Holcomb Valley. You got the big meadow and everything there. It's just a beautiful area. It's a great piece of riding. You have some great video shots and drone shots going across that meadow there. And,
yeah, I remember with our first trip, like that was our big aha moment when we just kind of, I know it's like a little bit climb right here, but then we just saw this huge open space here. It was absolutely gorgeous looking across.
Yeah, it's a beautiful big meadow there. It's fun to ride by. Yeah. Really fun to ride by. So we'll continuing on after you. The next road there was Del Mar. We'll continue right past it and on Holcomb, and where you see it going up, right, making that sharp right at the bottom of the screen and starting to go up. That's the next section of the climb. And that part actually, it averages 4.7%. That point to the high point. And it's actually the high point of Tour de Big Bear is that up there on or for the Dirty Bear is up there, which will be 7,750 feet elevation. That's the high when you get up there. And then you'll start winging your way back down toward Big Pine Flats. So this is the first cycling event to go out all the way over to Big Pine Flats. It's a great ride going over there. There's a lot of up, just because you hit the high point and you feel like you're going to go down. Well, you're going to go up and down, but you're working your way down as you're working your way. And over in that area, this is going across and going down. This is where you're going to want the 40. Make sure you have the 40 plus tires. The wider the better through here, because there's some soft sections through this. Decomposing granite and stuff that's soft. You get in and out of soft, hard pack to some rocky stuff, back into some soft, hard pack. But it all flows really well. And you're working your way down Big Pine Flats where we make that left. That's the camping area. If somebody needed to, there's bathrooms right there and everything. But if you drop it back and then if you're left and you'll start doing a downhill and you'll be working your way down elevation from to 6,500 feet, which is this year we're adding a KOM to the Dirty Bear. Just like Tour de Big Bear has the KOM section for the 70 and 100 milers, we're going to have a KOM section for the Dirty Bear riders, the 50s. And it's going to start at the bottom there. That's a junction. That's Cocky Road, and that's where PCT comes through. I think 3N08 comes through right there. And right at the bottom is where you're going to start. It's actually the second substantial climb in Tour de Big Bear right there. And it's going to be a KOM section. And we're going to award top 3 males and top 3 females awards for that section. And that section is 5.9 miles long. It has 1,280 feet of climbing, average 4.6%, and it'll hit 10.7. And it's electronically timed, just like timing for the whole event. We'll have time crew at the bottom. You will climb back up toward Fawn's Camp, right past the YMCA camp, over to Hannah Flats campground, past the YMCA campground, and turn left up Del Mar Road. And then it's just a short ride up Del Mar, and you'll make immediate right again, which is 371, which gives you, we've gone across this several times in the Bear and the Cubs, and it's the best view of the valley is right across there. Best view of the lake, the best view of the resorts on the other side, the best view of San Gornio mountain range behind Big Bear Mountain, and we'll continue that to the high point, and about a quarter mile past the peak out point is where it'll end. And like I said, it's 5.9 miles long, that KOM section, with 1,280 feet of climbing. It's a great ride.
Is there going to be an aid station right at the end of the end of that segment?
No. There is going to be water there, but not a full-on aid station. We're going to have a timing crew there. We're going to have ham radio, emergency operators there, and a water station there if somebody needs to refill their water. But it's only the last aid station, I didn't say it was at the start of it. So they're only 6 miles away from the aid station they just left.
Okay.
So at mile marker 21.5, back there where the KOM starts, just before the KOM, there's an aid station for them to put themselves down and get themselves ready to hammer that hill.
Okay.
So aid station number 2 is at up approximately 21.5 miles into it. Aid station number 1 was 10.5. And then that section is just short of 6 miles long. And then from there, once you're done with it, it's a downhill roll back over to Palik, where you'll mix into the route where the Cubs are coming back from. And then you get on North Shore Road heading east. So pretty well after that aid station, you're not going to have to pedal much to get yourself off that hill. And then we'll start heading east back over past where you came through Stanfield cutoff, where North Shore School is, and that's your next aid station number 3, which is 32.5 miles into the event. Right there where the round school is, that's where aid station number 3 is. Every cycling route into the Big Bear hits that aid station. That aid station gets more use than any other aid station. And that aid station will have what we call an express station. It'll be out on the road where all they're going to have is liquid and gels. You want the full boat aid station, you roll inside, you can get all the food and all the goodies.
It sounds like a little VIP information.
Yes. Yes. Well, we put that express out there because it is so crowded. Some people had a lot of hard time getting in who just wanted fluid or a gel. That's all they wanted. They wanted to keep moving. They were going for a time on the event, not just hang out aid stations. There's all, we have kinds of riders that ride it, well, that stop and enjoy every aid station, hang out at all the aid stations. They're just enjoying the whole environment. And then we also have the riders who are trying to go for their best time. So we're trying to cater for both of them to have a great time. So once you clear that aid station, we'll continue on east there on North Shore, past where you went up Van Dusen, and we're going to go over to Paradise. The street's called Paradise. You'll be hanging right on and heading south. Now this little section here that we're going to go through is not written in stone. There's a couple of things that can occur here. So we're going to go down Paradise and then hang a left through this neighborhood, which dead ends, but it junctions over. There's a trail right there that junctions over into this area where a number of people ride. It's another little dirt section. What we're doing is trying to get over to Maple Hill Trails. Maple Hill Trails were a huge hit last year. and we're going to get over, working our way over to them. So if that dirt section, if we get rain in it, we can't ride it. It'll just turn into peanut butter. So we'll be a slight reroute with that thing. So if people show up the day of through the Big Bear and go, well, my route doesn't show this thing, it's okay. It's just this whole section is what can change on us. This part is more dependent on weather and a couple little factors. But right now, it's our plan to go through. And we're just working our way east to swing into the Tour de Big Bear 70 and 100 mile route, which will guide us back over to getting into the Maple Hill trails. So we'll just follow it east. And then where it makes that sharp right-hand turn, now we're on the Tour de Big Bear route for the 70 and 100s, which is working us over to Baldwin, which will take us over to the school trails. So all these trails right here are actually owned by the schools and the property, and they're run by a foundation over here. So this is the same route as last year. And as you noted last year in your video, it's a spaghetti bowl of trails. It is a spaghetti bowl. But the way I do the marking, so you have anybody says anything about the marking, course markings out on the course, it's me. And this is my philosophy on the marking. Every turn has a minimum of 2 arrows. Everywhere on the dirt. I do all the marking on the dirt. Let me rephrase that. The street marking is done by other people. I just recheck it to make sure it's right but on the dirt, every turn has a minimum of 2 arrows. One showing that you're making the turn, and the other arrow showing you the right turn. So if you have an arrow turning your right, and after you make that right-hand turn, there's an arrow directing you straight ahead. So, and the higher speed the area is, the more arrows there are. So when you're going through this spaghetti bowl of trails, every little turn in that place that's junctions with some other trail has minimum of 2 arrows. And when I mark that, I'm on a bike pulling a trailer.
Yeah, I remember there was just so many options, and I know going up to the school you got a little bit of a climb, but you're thankful for it because it's just this area was so much fun coming down.
So once you're bottom into, when I said there's 3 primary climbs, there's always different climbing sections throughout Tour de Big Bear, like that going up that Baldwin Hill. What I'm talking is primary climbing sections that last for miles. So when you get to the bottom of the Maple Hill trails, the very bottom section, and you hit the 4th aid station, which is 43.25 miles into the event, that's the last big climb. That's the Sand Canyon climb, which is 4.7 miles, 950 feet of climbing. And it averages 2.7% with the steepest point of 8.7. And last year, when we rolled out, and there's a neighborhood that we rolled up by to climb out. Let's see on your map. Well, when you came out of the dirt and you came on a street and you went straight up a street and then you hung a left, a right to work your way over to Sand Canyon. Yeah.
That's it.
So you're going up. Yeah, you're doing that climb. Okay. And then you continue up to that street at the very top, which it turns right.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, last year we just followed that first street all the way to the end and then made we needed to turn right. Well, we had a bunch of people get lost.
Oh.
And I'm like, how are they getting lost? There's I've got a ton of arrows out there, and my street arrows were all still there, except I didn't go far enough down checking stuff. When I went and picked up the arrows, the arrow on the corner wasn't sitting in the corner. It was sitting in the people's backyard. Oh. So we're not going down that street. We're going over 2 others, and then we'll move our way over. And we have a system to mount it to the pole now. Okay. So I'm taking care of that problem. That's
Good
all
to
the
know.
climb, and then you'll jump back on a section of trail that will you'll go down it. You'll roll off a paved street, and let's see, where are you?
I think this is zoom out.
You go right there, and
Okay.
then so we'll head up the street, make a right, then it dead ends. You have to take a left, then dead ends. You have to turn right, and where it turns right again, that turns into dirt, and this is a nice little dirt climb up. It's a little sticky climb, which curves to the left and continues on south. And then where it rolls out is on pavement. And then that next climb up is on pavement until through a really nice neighborhood. It's a really, really nice neighborhood. It's a really nice climb. Nice little peaceful neighborhood climb, actually. And then we'll jump on the end, turn left, and jump out on dirt again, which will take us over to Sand Canyon route, which will, as you continue there south and you make that sharp hairpin turn and drop down Sand Canyon, which is properly named because there's some sandy sections through it, but man, you can flow through it. You can flow and fly down that thing. And that's all a downhill run, especially on when you finally hit the pavement. The thing is, the Dirty Bear, the highest point on the south side is right there in Sand Canyon, which is higher than Bear Mountain. So you're going downhill until you make a left on to Moon Ridge for a very short climb back into Bear Mountain, where everybody else is climbing from the lake up. You're just making that. You get one last little downhill run before the finish. Nobody else gets that.
Oh, nice.
And there you roll back into the Bear.
Well, there's a lot of flavor built into this course, obviously, and
Yes.
Just you know, I I know some of this mirrors last year's, and I know that Sand Canyon descent, excuse me, was a lot of fun, and glad that I had 42s. Now I'm on to 45 worlds.
Yep.
I think would be great, and yeah, I mean the sections that overlap are a lot of fun and everything else, and
Well, there's going to be some people because of the KOM they're going to think about running 33s or 38s, and they're going to be making a huge mistake on this, and they're going to run a smaller tire so they can hammer out the KOM because they're going to pay a steep price everywhere else on this course. Minimum of a 40.
Well, I mean, my question, even if people are just trying to gun that KOM, like I remember that, parts of the road are a little bit sandy. So if you do run the skinnier tires, I don't know if you're really coming out ahead. I think if you're just dialing your air pressure, is probably a much smarter move than trying to go as narrow as possible.
That is correct. Yep. Yes. I have two gravel bikes. One runs 2.1s, the other one is running 42s. So, and I spend most of my time up here riding around on the one that runs 2.1s.
Well, we have one comment, a question from a Visto Boyase. I shouldn't run my 23s. No, sir. He must be
no, sir. Only if you're using that bike to tow your gravel bike to the event.
Yeah. Sometimes we get people that are just getting into gravel, and so we're just trying to educate them. No, that's our good friend, Vic from videos. So
yes,
have a little fun. But Anton, who did the ride last year, amazing single track. I almost got lost there. It was a lot of turns. Thanks for remembering my spaghetti comment, because I saved that specifically for that. And I think the fly through just showed how much it was almost like they were trying to use as much real estate as possible to cover all that single track. And what I love about it is I know for some people, single track can be tricky, but I think that this isn't like you need you do need some skill, but you don't need to be a master at descending to handle
So,
these.
no, the Maple Hill Trails were built for both cross country running, hiking, local mountain bike, uh, team, high school team, things like that. But they were purpose built, I think, 4 feet, 5 feet wide, and because the equipment they use to build the things, and the route that we take around it is the original routing. It's the flowest routing. They have some other stuff that's more elaborate. That's why you have all kinds of junctions that you can junction different things in if you want to increase the difficulty of it. But I just taking the best flow route around the place for the whole.
Mm-hmm. So for people that are coming in from out of town, I know that there's a number of events tied there too. So you don't just have to come in and come out.
No, most people that come up to Big Bear through our stuff stay 2.7 days, and they usually come up with they actually average over 3 people in their group that come up for each rider. Usually over 3 people in their group. The event, we have what's called the poker ride on the Friday, the day before. It's a free ride. You don't have to pay to get in it. It's just part of coming out and taking part in the event. And you go right around the lake and get your check marks on your paper for stop each one of the spots around the lake, and you draw your cards at the end for prizes. And then the night before the event, we have the glow ride, which is over in the village. You ride around in the village. You put all kinds of lights and decorating your bike up, and it's a nice little fun ride for family to do. The glow ride over in the village. And then with the Tour de Big Bear, besides having the road routes, the 25, the 50, the 70, and 100, and then we have the 25 and the 50, the Dirty Bear and Dirty Cub, and the gravel route, we also have a family fun ride, which is free. People can register online. They can register right now for it, for the family fun ride. And it's a free event. And the kids, when they roll out across the finish line, Dank Donuts will give them a donut. And we have all kinds of stuff going on at the event up at Bear Mountain for kids, climbing walls, jump houses, things like that, face painting, all kinds of stuff going on for family event at Big Bear. We added a gravel event, but we also really started the family event, wanting the whole family to come to Big Bear and enjoy themselves. It's going to be live music Friday and Saturday all day long. Enjoy the place, all kinds of vendors, lots of things to do, lots of fun all day long.
Yeah, we started planning out at the beginning of the year to turn this into a 4-day family weekend until my daughter got into a play that's that afternoon. But which is disappointing because a couple years before, we had one of those vacations that got us thinking afterwards, oh, why don't we try and buy a place up here? And I'm like, well, let's we're still trying.
There's a couple up the street from me that went on the market.
Well, if they don't mind us sleeping in our car. But yeah, no, there's definitely just, we rented a boat, we, rode the chutes, we had rented a townhouse on the lake that was fantastic, and, we were raring to go. So we wanted to make, hopefully next year the play won't run on the same weekend, but, but I'm definitely going to make it up that morning. And good point here again by Anton about the elevation. My pro tip was, and I learned when we did our video for Big Bear a few years earlier, is don't drive up there too quickly. You'll gain the elevation really fast. give yourself time, which is why it's great to make a multi-day trip. But even
Exactly.
like me, that you're driving up the morning of, I think I stopped a couple pulled over a couple places along the way. I don't know if it helped my performance, but
And hydrate. You got to hydrate.
yeah. So yeah.
It's dry. It is dry up here. Much drier than down there. So our air is nice and dry. It may be nice and cool, but it's dry. It'll dry out nicely.
So when you come down here, do you like not drink water when you're
No, I still drink. Yes, I still drink my fluid. But up here, the humidity level is much lower than it is off mountain. That's why they make such great snow during the winter. The humidity's lower when it's not snowing.
Yeah, I mean, it's so amazing that this is so close. It would probably be more problematic if it was like way closer, because then all the traffic of people coming up all the time. So I always say, count your blessings for what you have. And yeah, it's a fantastic area year round. And I think that's the great part is Los Angeles has so many events that, places to go that, if it was just Big Bear, this place would be super inundated all the time.
Yes, it would.
And but still just great restaurants, great climate, yeah, and the big adjustment for me up there is not breathing in the smog. My lungs don't understand what it's to breathe without those extra particles.
Well, it's just like being off the mountain this past week and people asking me, is the sky up there just like this, cloudy? And I'm like, no, I'm above the clouds. When you got the clouds down there, I'm above in the sunshine.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never, I mean, I'm sure that, you cannot always avoid weather, but
no,
I know people in Southern California do not think about doing, events in August just because of the, how hot it is normally. But, this is perfectly placed to counter that, being up at elevation and not touching triple digits or anywhere close up there this time of year.
If it's an 85-degree day, that's a hot day for us.
Yeah. So I think, and especially starting in the morning, even if it was a hot day, it's super palatable. And,
yes.
I remember, it's a 7:30 start for the Dirty Bear, right?
Yes.
Yes. And I was warm enough not to wear layers. I don't believe.
No, you didn't need any at all last year. It was weather was perfect last year. Chamber of Commerce weather.
Oh, well, I'm glad you've got it in on that.
Yeah, we've only had 1 year that we had to do a last second change of the Dirty Bear route, and because of weather tore the course up and turned it into about a 4-mile section of course into just not. It would have been 4 miles of just really unhappy people.
Well, Robin, thanks so much for joining us. I know, like, for people, I mean, even if you're a road cyclist in Southern California, you're looking for events to do. Michael Heel, who was here, hoping we can go back to Skyline. Oh, well, maybe we should talk really briefly about our Send It.
Oh, yes, we can. Yes, we can. Well, let him know that, yes, I am just as ready to get back to Skyline as he is. And once we get some Forest Service changing on opening the area up that would allow us to do routing back to Bear Mountain, that will happen. That will happen. The very best riding is over here on that side. So, yes. And then Send It in July.
Yes, I don't know why I buried the lead, but for people that want to kind of get a little bit of a preview, of the area, not the same course, but we will be doing our Send It July 14th, which is a Sunday. We'll be passing out information pretty soon. I know you've already kind of got a route that you've been laying out, and that route will include Skyline.
It will include that area.
Okay.
It won't be. Yes, the route for Sunday, if there's riders up there want to ride Saturday, I can get them over to Skyline and ride some of the Skyline stuff. But the route for Sunday does do the south side of the lake. That's where we finish up on. Right now, it looks like it's 38 miles long and 3,500 feet of climbing.
And then, okay, one last question. How many feet are we climbing total this year for the 50 miles?
4,470 feet approximately.
Okay. That's
4,470 feet. That's
doable, Anton. All right.
High point of 7,750 feet with a low point of 6,500 feet.
All right. Let's go.
41% paved, 59% dirt.
Okay. That's like 50% more dirt than road. I'm good at math.
Yes.
All right. Well, Robin, thanks again for joining us. I know that this is one of the most beloved events, not just Southern California, across the whole area, but, great venue and everything. And, well, I'll see you in July before August 3rd, right?
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. And thank you for letting me be on here. It's awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Hey, and thanks for not sending a helicopter for me at our last Send It. So for my crash.
I wasn't going to say a word. You brought it up. I wasn't going to say a word.
Yeah. Well, good thing I didn't run my credit card.
That's it.
All right. Thanks for joining. Good night, everyone.
Thank you very much.